If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, that will be enough. This is what Meister Eckhart, a man who lived some 800 years ago, believed. He was a monk, a priest, and a teacher who spent his entire life studying the Bible and the writings of people who had thought deeply about matters pertaining to God and life. And all of his study and his own contemplation led him to believe that if the only prayer you say your entire life is thank you, that will be enough. And I agree with him. Now, it's not that God or life or the universe need to be thanked. It's more that we humans need to say and hear thank you. Thank you is what we say when we feel grateful. More importantly, saying thank you can lead to more feelings of gratitude. You know, that warm, fuzzy, full, happy feeling we get when we receive a gift or someone does a favor for us? Personally, I find it difficult to be grateful on demand. Sometimes this holiday weekend coming up can feel like that's what's being asked. I find it difficult to be grateful on demand, especially when life is hard or it doesn't go the way I want it to or think it should. And then sometimes I just get too busy to notice the wonderful things in my life and end up taking them for granted. Psychologists have identified some feelings and attitudes that get in the way of gratitude. Not that anybody here has ever fallen into any of these. But they are envy. These are the things that get in the way of gratitude. Envy, wanting something that someone else has, or thinking that other people have more than we do. Another thing that gets in the way of gratitude is materialism, believing that having more stuff and more things will make us happier and more secure somehow. Narcissism, which is a big word, which means when we think about only our own happiness and not the happiness of others. That gets in the way of gratitude. And another big word, cynicism. And cynicism is the belief that people are indeed only interested in themselves and are therefore not sincere. So when I find myself sinking into any of these attitudes or feelings, there's two practices that I've cultivated over the years. They're the ways that I say a prayer of thank you, and they're ways that help me to find my grateful heart again. So the first thing that I do is I keep a page in my journal that is reserved just for writing down things that make me happy. I call it my happiness page. So if something makes me feel happy during the day, I write it down. Everything from the light of late afternoon streaming through my office window to the new shoes that fit my feet just right, to the text message I just got from my best friend, to the latest pictures of my grandson that arrive in my email inbox. And here's what makes the practice really work. Because I'm not always in a place to write those things down when they happen. So that means that I have to hold on to them all through the day until evening comes when I can actually sit down with my journal and write them down. So what that does is it makes me think happy thoughts throughout the day. And then, on those days when life does feel heavy and full of loss, we've all had those days in the past couple of years, haven't we? It's on those days that I go to my happiness page because it's there to remind me that life is indeed still good with many things to be grateful for. The other practice I have for praying my thank you prayer is to take a gratitude walk. Now, walking is something that I do most every day when the weather allows, but not every walk is a gratitude walk. These are for the days when I most need to pray. Those days when I most need to find my grateful heart again. I set out with the intention to use all of my senses, noticing everything that I see or smell or hear or feel. Everything from trees and flowers along the street, to the birds singing in the trees, to the blue sky above and the ground beneath my feet. When I notice these gifts of life that I have done nothing to earn, when I notice these gifts, something in me starts to shift. And I begin to notice all of the things that have been brought into existence by human hands. Someone planted the trees and weeded the flower beds. The labor of many I will never meet went into creating the path that I walk upon. Hard labor. From those who quarried and crushed the stone, to those who transported the raw materials, to those who combined it with petroleum products and made it into asphalt, and finally those who laid it upon the ground, all so that I could have a solid surface for my feet. Another practice on Thanksgiving Day is to think of the food that has come to the table, the hands of all who planted it, those who harvested your food, those who prepared it, those who served it, those who clean up. And this is when the feelings of gratitude well up in me, and my prayer of thank you is heartfelt. It's a heartfelt thank you for everyone who has contributed to my well-being and happiness. And not only that, I feel connected to all of these unseen people, connected and grateful. Galen Gingrich, senior minister of All Souls Unitarian Church in Manhattan and author of the book The Way of Gratitude, says this: the key discovery was realizing that relationships are everything. In order for life to be good, relationships need to be good in both directions, what we receive and what we give. Once you begin to make relationships central, you begin to see that life is a matter of how you relate to everything else and how it relates to you. That's when you get to an understanding of gratitude. For me, this way of thinking about gratitude is about two key understandings that we Unitarian Universalists hold to be true. One is that each and every one of us is a worthy recipient of the abundant gifts of life. And two, that we are connected to each other, bound in an infinite web of relationship. This season of Thanksgiving can be a time to practice saying thank you and in so doing, cultivating gratitude, appreciating what is good in life, and letting it encourage us to pay this goodness forward. As we prepare to leave this sacred hour and move out into the world, may our unceasing prayer be thank you, knowing it is enough. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.